everyone, it's CL. So now that things have started to kind of settle down and I'm kind of looking for a new routine, I have a lot more time on my hands now that I've been laid off and I'm looking for full-time employment. I'm starting to get back into reading. I really had to put like the whole reading thing on pause. Life has been a total mess. So now that I'm like picking up the pieces and trying to get back into reading, get back into the things that I enjoy, I went to the library. And picked up just a handful of books. Now the problem that I have, since I haven't read anything in so long, since I haven't been like actively involved in books in so long, I feel like I don't really know what I'm in the mood for. Like I'm very up in the air. So I went to the library with my kid. I had my kid just like pick out a handful of books that she thought I would like, you know, because I currently am not picky. I don't even know what I want to read. I don't know what I feel like reading. I just know that I want to get back into it. So she picked out like 2 books, and then I picked out a couple books that seem interesting to me. And yeah, so that's what we're going to kind of go with. I hope to finish these books within a week, so then I can get my next haul. And you know what, but I shouldn't plan too far ahead, because every time I plan too far ahead, things just turn into a mess. Let's go ahead and just get into it, and I'll show you what I ended up picking up. So the first book that I'm going to show you, I'm actually, this is probably like one of the dirtiest books I have come across, and that's why I am obsessed now. Now that I'm older, I'm like obsessed with washing my hands. But I ended up getting this book here. You might not be able to see it. There's like a sticker in the front here. All these books here are library books. So this cover is a little bit messy, but if you can't see the title properly, it's titled Mommy Millionaire by Kim Levine, and this is more so for those who are kind of like starting their own business, geared towards moms, and kind of gives you the lowdown on like how to start your kitchen business, how to make your kitchen hobby into like a small business type thing, right? So the reason why I picked this book up is because off camera, you did not see this part of my life, but I actually started my own small business in New York. I like got my business license. I have like my inventory. The problem is that since my life has unexpectedly flipped upside down, if you're not in the know, I am back in California and I'm living in California again. It was a very sudden change. I had to like put everything on pause. I had to put my small business on pause because now that I'm in California, I need to get like a new business license. I have to get a business license for the state that I'm living in. So that is like a work in progress. But I picked up this book, Mommy Millionaire, because it talks about a lot of business things. Like the first few handful of pages are things that I've kind of already researched on my own, am already in the know about. But then there's like a lot of pages in here. I just like browse the topics. There's a lot of pages in here that talk about things that I wasn't even aware about, like finding investors, that sort of thing, and like how to promote your business to like mainstream places like Macy's and JCPenney's, that sort of thing. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to reading this book. But this book will be a book that I will skip the pieces that I feel like I already am familiar with and just jump to the key items that I want to know more about. So the next book that we picked up for the library for my reading list for this week is this book called Seeker by Veronica Rossi. Now this was a funny pick because my daughter had picked up 2 books. The first book she picked up was about a girl who could see the past, can kind of like see the past, see like the dead, and that sort of thing. And I read like the synopsis and I was like, I'm not so sure about this one. I don't know if it will hold my interest. And then she picked another book, and this book here is about another girl, but instead of being able to see like the past, she's able to see the future. So this one I ended up like putting in her pile. I'm like, yeah, let me go ahead and check that out. This is a YA novel. I haven't read anything YA in quite a while, so I thought I would go ahead and pick this up. So I am looking forward to reading this here, and that's one of the things I like to do is let my daughter just like pick a book and then I just read it, you know, because I think that when we browse for books on our own, we do have a little bit of a bias. Like maybe that word bias is the wrong word, but what I mean is that we're so stuck in what we know we like that we tend to not branch out. So that's a little thing that I do, is I just let my daughter run around the library and like pick things for me and I do the same for her. I'll go to the children's section, pick a few things for her. She also picks a few things for her, and that's just something that we tend to do with each other. Now, the next book that I picked out, I actually picked this one out because it seemed interesting. Now, I don't know what section I was in. I was doing that method of just browsing. I wasn't even paying attention to like whether it was fiction, romance, science fiction, non-fiction. I just wasn't paying attention to the categories. And since this is a library that I haven't been in such a long time, like just walking around, I'm not really familiar with all of the sections. So it was kind of nice to have that freedom to just wander. But I ended up picking this book up here. This is called This Pen for Hire. So now this one, I didn't read too much of the synopsis. Like, I skimmed it, so if I'm getting like the synopsis a little bit wrong, it's because I didn't read too much into it. I like to like go into a book blind, but I'll read the synopsis enough to see if it's something that I could possibly be interested in. So this book is about a detective, and there's this guy who lands a date with this girl, and then all of a sudden the girl ends up being murdered, and he's like pinned for the crime, so it seems. So the detective is kind of going through the story, like solving the crime. Is it really the guy that this woman went on a date with that murdered her? That sort of thing. And it's a short little book here, and I'm kind of wondering, I haven't read anything from this author before, but just looking at the cover though, like covers can absolutely be deceiving. But when I look at this cover and I think about like a murder detective story, I kind of wonder if it's going to be more so comedic, like if there's gonna be like a funny element, like, oh no, it can't be this guy because he's so clumsy, how could he manage to murder someone? Or it just doesn't, the tone that the cover gives me does not feel like a very serious, ominous tone, you know? Does that make any sense? But you know, I could be totally wrong. You can't really base things off of covers. So I'm just gonna read this and see how I like it, and hopefully if I finish it within the next week, I can do some sort of wrap-up video on how I liked it or didn't like it. And lastly, this book here is one that I'm actually really interested in. It's a topic that I'm very interested in, that I research regularly and want to stay on top of, being in the know, just because our world is turning into like a digital world. It's going to be more and more digital. We're going to use like cash less, pay more with card or some sort of electronic payment, that sort of thing. So I ended up picking this book up here called Swiped, and it's by Adam Levin, and it says how to protect yourself in a world full of scammers, phishers, and identity thieves. I just want to be in the know. Like, how can I protect myself? How can I be more mindful? Now, I want to say that I'm pretty savvy when it comes to like ignoring those phishing emails, making sure not to click on links. But to be honest, I have fallen for like a phishing email before. I had thought that I received an email from Apple or like iTunes or something, because I regularly buy like iTunes music. I rent like movies off of iTunes. And then naturally, when I see this email come in from Apple, I clicked on the link without thinking about it. I just right away clicked on the link, and then it wasn't until after I clicked on it, I was like, oh no, this is so fake, because you could see like where the email came from. Yeah, it says Apple, but then if you look at the extended address, it's definitely not from the Apple corporate office, you know? It's definitely not from the company. So I just want to be more mindful on if there's something that I'm not in the know about, if there's some sort of scam going on that's out there. I just want to be more knowledgeable of that stuff, just to protect myself and be smart about things. You know, the worst thing in the world is having your information stolen and then having it like ruin your credit, or having some stranger empty out your bank account, you know? So that is why I picked up this book here called Swiped. Now that I've been sharing my little haul with you all, and I was reading the author names, they all sound very similar, and I swear to you, I got this from different sections of the library. So for example, this book here, the last name is Levine. This book here that I just showed you, the last name is Levin. This book here that I also showed you, the last name is also Levine. What the heck? What a coincidence, right? All right, so I'm looking forward to getting back into reading. Hopefully it'll be successful. It's been quite a while since I've read anything to completion, so we shall see. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later.